I did not want to be one of those people on their deathbed, suddenly thinking, oh, I should have done this. And what if?
Yeah,
I wanted to live. I think it's fear. Fear of how it's going to look.
Right.
Fear of what people think of me.
Right.
And even fear of being the best you. Some people are scared of success. Yeah, of course. It's okay.
I did it again.
It's okay to mess up. It's all right.
Yeah.
Welcome to Anne-Marie's Impact. My name is Anne-Marie Emmanuel, and I love being on here, having raw conversations with real people as inspiration for those ready to elevate and dominate personally and professionally through the power of self-love. Join me on this transformative journey as we move from inner lack to inner lush together. Welcome everyone to Anne-Marie's Impact. Today I have the privilege of hosting a true parallelpreneur. She's a marketing and business consultant, and she's also a recognized artist. This creative force is not just an artist. She is a storyteller who paints with emotions and visions. Join me today in welcoming Luk Pat, an incredibly talented artist whose masterpieces on canvas are a window into her soul. Joy, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. It really is. So Joy, our relationship spans over so many different capacities. I know we are members of the SAGE, an incredible group called SAGE, and we support each other in alignment, growth, and expansion. But on a professional level, you're also my marketing consultant. And on a professional level, I am your professional coach. So we have a special coaching client relationship there. And we also have a commonality whereby you choose to leave the corporate world to follow your passions and purpose. And everyone knows that that's my story, right? Mm-hmm. So I really want to start there, like leaving corporate to follow your passions. How was that for you? How is it unfolding?
It has been an experience. I left the corporate world about 2.5 years ago, and it has been a journey. There was a lot of guilt, a lot of questions, a lot of doubt, a lot of fear behind that decision. And it's something that I've had to work through. And you know that as my self-love coach. I gave myself 2 years to decide what I would do. So it's enough to be a sabbatical, a 2-year sabbatical, but also short enough that if I had to re-enter the corporate world, I could easily. So I gave myself that 2-year window to make a decision, and it was like I was living in a bubble for these last, for those 2 years of just exploring the world and, focusing on my career. And,
So the
enjoying.
2 years were to see if it's something you want to do, or was it that I'm giving myself 2 years to show that I can survive without corporate world? What was it?
It was both. It was enough time to just figure out what I wanted to really do. It was enough time to focus on my career in art, which was actually expanding at that point in time. I was able to spend time with my family, spend time nurturing the relationships that I wanted to focus on. It was also enough time to do some of the passion projects that I have wanted to do all my life.
Right.
So I got the opportunity and I've done it.
Right.
So I've got the opportunity to do that as well.
Right. I know for me, it was just, in the beginning, it was just to breathe. I just knew that I needed to breathe. I had no idea what I was going to do. I had a vision of where I was going to go, but I really didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing. And I just knew that I needed something sustainable. It had to be better than what I was doing, even though I was at the top of my game in my career.
Right.
Right. And that, you mentioned scared, you mentioned guilt. So what was the guilt? What did you feel guilty about?
Well, I am supporting my family. We have financial goals that, that I'm working towards, I have 2 young children.
Right.
And, there are things like university fees that I have to consider later on, school fees, books, food, extracurricular activities, just generally providing for my family as well. So,
Right.
I mean, there are those, things that I want to do.
Right.
I
Did
would
you
love to
feel
travel.
guilty about leaving? Like for me, I had my good government job at a time when everyone on the outside wanted my job. People were begging to come in to have a job because it was during that time of the economic meltdown and jobs were scarce. And so here I am with a really good job, good position, good salary, saying that I don't want this. I want something better than this. So for me, that's where a lot of the guilt came in. Like, shouldn't I be happy with what I have? Shouldn't I, be satisfied with what I have? So for me, the guilt was really, really present. And I had to work through a lot of that. Did you find that was the same for you in terms of the job that you had?
Correct. I actually left during this pandemic. So,
Right.
yes, I felt the same thing, the same guilt of should I be leaving during this particular time? Should I go on my own at this point in time?
Right.
But, and don't get me wrong, I enjoyed working
Me too.
in the corporate life. I enjoyed it.
I had a position
Yes.
that I really enjoyed, and then it's not so much the job; it's just the environment had changed because people were panicking, and whereas you were giving 200%, they were requiring 400%.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I can
That's
understand
nature
that
of
you
the
loved your
game.
job,
I loved my job, but it was also time to do something.
right?
It was time for change, I know it sounds very cliche, but that quote where you say, and then she knew it was time.
Right.
She knew it was
But what
time to
exactly
make that
made you
change.
feel like it was time? Like you felt you had reached the top of. What
I
was
felt
it?
that it was time to do some of the things that I wanted to do. For example, like I did not want to be one of those people on their deathbed, suddenly
Right.
thinking, "Oh, I should have done this," and what if?
Yeah, that's
I wanted to live. We're here to experience this life. I wanted to give my very best. I wanted to, do so many things that I felt the call to focus on.
right. I see so much of myself in you because during that time for me, what gave me the push was the same thing, well, I was counting down the years for retirement. So I had 6 years, and then it suddenly dawned on me. At that time, I was practicing living in the now, and I asked myself, how do I know I have 6 years? And what if something happens, and I will never be able to say that I accomplished my dreams in terms of the plans that I had, post-retirement plans that I had. So, I had to make a hard decision. Like, what does living in the now mean? It means that taking advantage, like choosing now. Right? I don't know if I have tomorrow. So, this is the time. Now is the time, and that's one of the catchphrases that I have in my business. Now is the time to live.
Now is the time.
And I chose. I'm like, And it was so scary. It is scary. You're going into the unknown. It's very, very fearful. But I think during that time we build in courage, courage. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
Oh, yes, it definitely does.
Yeah, one of the things I tell people is that I don't tell people to do this because it takes a special person with a lot of courage to say that I'm going to just leave this, what I have in my hand, to go into the unknown, but it's so worth it, isn't it?
It is definitely a different life. I mean, I'm enjoying it.
Right.
You have that freedom to build, to choose your next steps. I definitely am enjoying that.
Yeah, one of the things that make me realize that I did the right thing was when I hear other people complaining about the system and the status quo and things that you would expect in the corporate room, which the most importantly is not having enough time. Not having enough time for your family, not having enough time to do the things that are important to you. And I always say, I don't care what it is I'm experiencing here, at least I'm doing me, and I'm prioritizing my life so that the things that are important to me, it comes first. And I think that's what makes the whole difference. That's what makes it worth it, because at the end of the day, we're choosing, in the coaching I talk about choosing me before choosing yourself first.
Correct.
Yeah, so I think that is where I get the satisfaction. Time, and most people out there are complaining that they don't have enough time to do what's important.
It's true. You're working from 8 to 5, and then you're working overtime, and by the time you get home, the whole day has gone.
Right.
It's just enough time to sort out a few things, prepare for the next day, and you do it again.
Right. So take me to that time. You said 2 years, right? How did you feel when 2 years?
Well,
was up?
I gave myself those 2 years because I'm a planner. I plan with as much information as possible.
Right.
So I said, okay, 2 years. So I did the 2 years, and as that 2-year mark hit, that was when I realized, okay, it's time to assess. Should I go back into the corporate world? Do I have enough funds? How is my business going? And then you analyze. You do your SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You look at the business. You look at where you're going. What's your next plan, etc. Right? And you really take a deep dive into what you want to do and where you are. And at that point in time, a lot of the fears came back in. It was like the bubble had popped. My nice, happy 2-year bubble had popped. And then all the fears from the last 2 years, the guilt, everything came rushing back in. And I think I started to go down a spiral of fear and deep sadness and, oh my God, I've lost something. As opposed to gaining a new freedom, new life, new opportunities. I started to spiral into, I suppose, a victim mode. And, this is where you came in. Because here I am, 2.5 years later.
How did you pull yourself out of that endarkenment?
So for the last 6 months, I was able to pull myself up, and with your help.
Right. So let's talk about the coaching, because one of the things I love about you is your openness and willingness to know when it's time to get professional help. There's a lot of professional women out there, and I talk to a lot of women in my coaching business, and they're doing all that they can do. They're doing wonderful things. They're creating, they're building, and yet they are reaching that point where they're not fulfilled, and they know that something is missing. And a lot of times I would tell them, but perhaps you need coaching, and they say, no, it's not that, you know. So one of the things that I love about you is your ability to recognize that professional coaching. And I mean, I've been coaching for almost 15 years now, and doing this kind of work for 15 years, and I am always being coached.
Yeah.
I'm always being coached because it is so necessary. I always want to look to someone who is where I want to be, and that's what motivates me to get coaching. So I think a lot of professional women, they're now starting to understand the importance of getting that professional coaching, and there's nothing wrong with it.
No.
And it's really a good investment in yourself.
It definitely is a good investment. It's more than just coaching. I would say mentoring as well, because it's not like therapy, where
Right,
sometimes you feel like there's a stigma over it, even a stigma over coaching. That, oh my gosh, I'm not good enough. I need help.
Right.
But this was great because I was able to look to you. You are successful. You have achieved a lot of growth in your chosen field. You are an author. Here we are doing this now. You know, so you have achieved a degree of success, and it is inspirational. And it came at the exact moment in time where I was looking for some support, because at the end of the day, we're not here to do this alone. We're here to lean on each other and form that community and lift each other forward as women, as humans.
Right.
You know, so I'm so happy
So
you came in my life.
what would you say is that one, in your opinion, that one thing that keeps other women from getting coaching, professional coaching? Is it money? Is it
It could be a mixture of both, money,
yeah.
but I think fair.
Yeah.
I think the
And stigma, like you said before.
Yeah.
People probably see it as therapy or something. It's not. It's definitely not.
And therapy is good.
Right. Therapy
Don't
has
get
its
me
place.
wrong. It
and
has
it's
its
good.
place. I've gone for therapy as well. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, this is the age where you must try to improve yourself. It's
Exactly.
mentoring, it's coaching, but I think it's fair of how it's gonna look,
Right.
fair of what people think of me,
Right.
and even fair of being the best you. Some people
Yeah,
are scared
success.
of success.
Yeah.
You know, what happens if I actually achieve all my dreams?
Right. Then
Oh
you
my
have
gosh.
nothing to complain about, right?
Right?
If
Well, you say that, right?
no,
But
no
it's
reasons.
fair.
Yeah.
It's just fair. Stepping
Yeah.
out of your comfort zone.
I have found that because I have had some clients who started the coaching, and when we get to that point, and you know what point I'm talking about,
my gosh.
where you really have to get deep. You have to start going deep within to find those fears and deal with those fears and insecurities that you've been carrying for a long time. And they quit.
Yeah.
They quit.
You know that I almost quit
Yeah.
twice. I would say that I've done quite a number of coaching courses throughout my life. Hundreds of coaching courses. And I would say that this one is one of the most intense and deep courses that I have ever done.
Right.
Enough for me to almost quit twice.
Yeah, I remember those days when you were like,
But I pushed through. I mean, because
so
it
proud
was a
of you
commitment.
because, yeah.
It was a commitment to myself, a commitment to you,
Yeah.
a commitment to my growth.
And you can't heal that which you have to be able to go into dealing with your feelings,
Right.
you know?
Yep.
And what's waiting on the other side of that is so much joy, so much power, so much fulfillment that is worth it. It's worth it,
Yep.
you know? And if we are willing to just get out of our own way, you know, and everything is, like I said, these professional women have everything that it takes to be professional and successful. And sometimes they just need to go within rather than keep working on the outside.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think what helped specifically within your coaching course was understanding the archetypes, understanding which archetype I fit in, understanding my inner voice and the what I say to myself during these very stressful times. You know, and understanding my triggers, understanding how I interact with the world around me, especially during high pressure situations. And it was more than that. It was more than just understanding it. It was an actual practical approach where I was able to, you know, actually change certain things about it and work with you to change it, change that voice in my head, change what I'm saying to myself.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we went through that made you want to keep going is when we talked about what is costing you.
Exactly.
What is costing you to hold on to it?
Yes.
You know, because it's like you will never get to the other side if you don't deal with those. Become familiar with the voice, become familiar with the toxic behaviors, and just awareness of it is 50%, but the practice.
Yeah.
And what I loved when coaching you is that life gives you opportunities. As soon as we discovered certain things, the life gives you the opportunity to fix it. So everything was just perfect because you would come back like, this situation occurred or this is happening, and I'm like,
Exactly what we talked about. Now
that's the work.
Let's practice it. Let's put it into play. And I mean,
and you would ask questions in between, like, okay, now how do I deal with this one? And I would just go right back to the foundation, right? The foundation of, you know,
that voice.
What's the truth?
What's the truth?
What is the truth? Because we know that everything else is the big fat lies, right? So the voice in your head is always taking you down that rabbit hole of big fat lies. And once you capture that, the thought, then you save yourself a whole lot of trouble with the behavior and the toxic habits and all of that other stuff that comes after it. The emotions, the negative emotions and all of that.
Correct.
So
that was really good.
It's
just catching that thought. The minute you realize you have caught that thought of what you just said to yourself, oh, I'm not enough, or, you know, should I be doing this? You know, am I qualified enough to... You catch that thought
and sometimes, oh, there I go again, you know, beating up on yourself. There I go again, making a fool of myself. Or, oh shit, I messed up again.
And then you laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
And you realize, oh, yeah, of course, it's okay.
I did it again,
It's okay to mess up, it's all right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's not that serious. It's okay.
Yes. Yes. And here you are now.
Here I am now.
Just being free to be self-expressed and doing your artwork, living your passions. It's not easy. It's never going to be easy. And as I said before, a parallelpreneur. Sure. An entrepreneur on so many different levels. And you are feeling optimistic about what you're doing, feeling optimistic about being able to face any challenge with this and moving forward. So I also wanted to, you're getting ready to do an important course in the next week, I think, right? With Landmark. I am just so thrilled about that, because that is the real deal right there.
Yeah, it's another step in my journey of personal transformation. I mean, I do believe in growth. You must keep training yourself and keep that mind active. Like, what's next? How do I improve myself? Because am I a perfect person? Absolutely not.
Right.
Am I getting there? I'm working on it every day. We have, every single day to get better and better.
And better. I think that's one of the things we have in common, because, everyone knows that I say that Landmark was the program that put me on a trajectory for success. Everything that I have done since I did Landmark has put me on a path for success. And that's why I talk about it with people a lot. So I am so thrilled that you're going to be entering into that realm of possibilities for your life, because that is the thing. So now that we've covered the personal coaching and going within and dealing with the fears and insecurities, what Landmark is going to give you is how do you take that out into the world and build yourself in relation to everyone around you, because now you have to train people to accept this new you, starting with your family, your children. They will see you one way, your husband would see you one way, and now you have to know how to enroll them into this new person that's moving forward. So I'm really excited. I definitely will have to have you back on the show sometime later so we can talk about what impact Landmark has had. But so far, what impact has the embracing self-love done for you in terms of the work that you're doing?
I would say that the biggest impact was learning how to be gentle with myself.
Right.
And I think like how I would apply being gentle with myself in the career field is that I would say that it is okay to make a decision, go with it, and even pivot if necessary. It is being gentle with myself is also about accepting my wins. Over the last 2.5 years, I was able to put on my first solo show. I was able to follow some passion projects. I was able to work with some NGOs and speak to the media.
To win some awards.
Win some awards.
Yeah.
I was able to speak on the media and in front of students, and be able to share my story, share information about business and art.
Right.
I was able to achieve a lot of the things that I said that I was going to do in the last 2 years.
Right.
And I can celebrate that.
Right.
That's part of being gentle with myself. Celebrating the
your
wins.
wins. Yeah.
Right? And the reason I say 2 years is that this is when you came in, right? In the last 2.5 years. So, yes, 2.5 years were a great opportunity. And that's part of being gentle with myself. And I would say that also, while I absolutely enjoyed being in the corporate world, and I celebrate those wins as well, I can also celebrate these last 2.5 years. And it's not fixed in stone of whether I'm staying out or just going on my own. It is about being able to pivot if I need to. There's no hard and fast rule, and it's being gentle with myself to allow that, to allow the opportunities to come in, and because I now know that I'm enough. I am. What I've done in the last 2.5 years has been invaluable. That out of the box thinking, being actually outside of the box, will be an asset to any company that decides they want me in. Of course, if the package is right, sure.
And you still have that option to go back into.
Of course, and dive back in if I need to.
I think one of the things we do is we kind of feel like it's either this or that.
Exactly.
And when you have grown so much in the 2 years that you took that time to develop yourself and to do you, and now if you want, you can take that, you can still go back into corporate, and you would be an asset to any company now because you've grown so much, and you've dropped the self-bullying, and you've dropped the judgments, self-judgment.
Still working on everything.
Of course, it's a work in progress.
It's definitely a work in progress.
You and I carry the same top personality archetype, which is the invincible superwoman.
The one that thinks we can do it all,
to me is
and we will.
Yes, take on everything. We can do it all, but at the cost of burnout and self-judgment, self-bullying, and all of that. So I think it's just, to me, that is one of the hardest archetype and to deal with, because the invincible superwoman looks like superwoman. She handles everything. She gets a lot of praises from people. We just look like, wow, she's phenomenal, right? It looks good, but no one sees underneath the surface of it, which is the harsh judgment on ourselves and the harsh expectations of having to live up to that, to be on the pedestal and live up to being a superwoman, which we created, right?
Exactly, and it's not even a comparison to others, it's a comparison to ourselves. It's what we expect.
We're always competing with ourselves.
Yes.
And all that. So when you can, now we're still going to be superwomen, but we can drop all of that and just
let go of some of the inner expectations
and ease
allow ourselves
and flow and
be okay. It will be okay.
And know that everything is going to be okay. And we are still super.
Oh, yes.
We can
still going after those goals.
I love what you said. Take the time to celebrate
those wins
instead of
instead
comparing.
of going to the next project.
I
remember working in an organization, and as we are executing an event, a massive event, I'm already starting to plan the next event in the middle of the current event,
right?
And it's, you don't give yourself time to come down, celebrate, and then move into the next one. It's like you're always going.
Yeah, I know what that is. But so now I'm still producing really amazing results in different things, but it's much more from a place of ease and flow. And now I'm working in conjunction to the universe, where everything seems to come easy. I'm not swimming upstream, and everything is coming. And it's so much better when you get rid of all of the negative emotions and open yourself up to let the universe collaborate with you.
And let it surprise and delight.
And
it's like, oh, what's coming now?
What's coming?
How exciting.
Live life with a nice, really looking forward to excitement in everything that you do, rather than, oh my God, I got to get this done. I got to get that done. This has to be perfect, because perfectionism is one of the attributes of that personality too.
Correct.
Yeah. So that was something else I had to drop, and I'm sure you did too.
Sometimes it requires just getting something done to the best of your ability, and
and being satisfied.
Being that it is going to achieve its objective.
Right. And being fulfilled.
Do what you can with what you have, and within the specific timelines, and
So Joy, if someone is at a crossroads in their life, whether it is in their professional career or even in their relationship, or transitioning probably for retirement or something like that, what are the questions they should be asking themselves?
I think it would be, first of all, to figure out how they're feeling emotionally. Are they feeling good about the decision? Are they feeling like they're spiraling in victim mode? Are they feeling like they know the next step? Right? How are they feeling within themselves? Before they even start to ask the question. And then I suppose the main question would be, are you living your purpose? Are the decisions that I am doing going to achieve what I want for myself? Right. Do I know how to get there? Do I know what my next step will be? Do I have a plan? Do I you know, how
Or
are we
whatever
feeling?
I'm doing in life, is it bringing me joy? Oh, joy.
Exactly.
There we
Is it
go.
bringing me joy?
Is it bringing me back joy?
Am I happy
'Cause so
doing
many
this
times we're
next
doing,
step?
we're doing addicts, right?
Right.
And we keep doing and doing. And I love that you touched on how does it feel, because in society we were trained to not pay attention to our feelings, and that's one of the biggest problems that we have in terms of us analyzing what we need to thrive, because we shut down our feelings.
Yep.
And if you really, at the end of the day, ask yourself, what am I feeling? Does this feel good? Does this feel like it's me? You know, I
Exactly.
think you would be able to, if you answer that honestly, you'll be able to at least have the awareness that something needs to change, something
Exactly.
needs to give.
That
you
was,
know?
I think, the biggest
Yeah.
part of it as well. You're right. My feelings were bottled, pushed
Yeah.
down, shoved down. So
Yeah.
doing this to bring it up, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
I
we
think-
in this society are not, we're not given the freedom to feel, to express, especially in the corporate world, or as CEOs of our own company. You're supposed to be tough and strong.
Yes,
And
logical mind, only focus,
And,
get it done, any means possible.
Exactly.
Now there's a beautiful balance.
Balance,
Logical,
because there are times
and
when you just
creative.
have to cry and show your emotions and pay attention to what you're feeling and say, I'm not feeling good. I need help. Reach out to whoever, your friends, other people. Like, I am not feeling good today, and that's okay.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's absolutely
So-
okay.
Yeah. So, and then there are times when sometimes people are not even aware that, because they're not paying attention to their feelings, they're not even aware of what questions to ask themselves, So
Right.
it's more like we're walking around like robots, just following, different cues and doing what we think we need to be doing, especially to please other people and not ourselves. So I think if people can't answer those questions that you just stated, that would be a time that they need to look into some kind of self-development course, like the one that I teach, Embracing Self-Love, or really do some self-exploration, or something that would get them back in touch with who they are.
Correct.
Because a lot of people are not in touch with who they are today,
Yeah,
so far removed from self.
it is.
Yeah.
It will make you a better
Yeah.
leader, a better person. Balancing that, being in
Yeah.
touch with who you are, being in
Yeah.
touch with your feelings, and using
Right.
all the education and the knowledge and using all of that to move forward,
To move forward.
together.
So the in touch with your feelings, it's the self-love, it's the foundation. And a lot of times we don't build a foundation, and then we go about trying to put all the different rooms of the house on top of a weak foundation. So
Correct.
it's all going to come crashing down. So
right.
yeah, that foundation, I always tell people, self-love is the foundation, and understanding what it really means to love yourself. Because we say self-love, it's so esoterical lately that most people don't understand what it really means
I
to
would say
love
I did not
yourself.
understand that before I
Yeah.
started speaking to you either.
Yes.
Self-love. What is self-love? Do I have time for self-love? I don't have time for that. I have to focus on getting my work done.
Done, yeah.
And then you realize that you're starting to, you're missing something.
Yeah.
You're going forward, but you're not,
And you
You're
keep
not
ending up back in the
back.
same places.
Right,
Like
you're not
making 2 steps
centered.
forward, always making 1 step backwards.
it's kind of like a headless chicken.
Yeah,
You just,
yeah.
but if you know where you are, you know what you
You know
stand
what
for,
ground you're
you
standing
know what your
on.
purpose is, you can move forward.
Move
with that
forward.
part.
And then you start to build and build and build. And it's an upward
Exactly.
thing. Yeah. Yes. So what's next in art?
What's next in art? I'm continuing to paint. I have quite a few shows coming up. What I think everyone can do is probably check out my website and my Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. Because I'm sure that people have
to keep
a
in
wall that's looking for the perfect piece.
Yeah, in your wall, in your house, in your business place.
Exactly. And how can they get in touch with you?
You can find me on my website or on my social media. Reach out to me.
Okay. What's the
And we
social
can
media,
talk.
just so they can...
Joy Luk Pat on Instagram. On Facebook, it's Joy Luk Pat Artist.
Can you spell it so that...
JoyLukPat. And my website is easy. It's joylukpat.art.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this has been so wonderful talking with you. And
Thank you.
definitely having you back on the show so we can talk
Yay.
about the new developments post Landmark.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course, I'll be happy.
Yeah, it's been wonderful talking to you, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Wonderful talking to you as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome. This episode was brought to us by the generous contributions of Keith Mitchell.